Everybody loves Spider-Man, right? There's so much of him everywhere to the point where he has a metric doodle ton of variants across various shows, movies, and comics. I myself have been a Miles Morales truther since like 2011, and those Spider-Verse movies really took that to a million. Those movies are one of the few times I've ever seen an adaptation of something be infinitely better than the source material. Across the Spider-Verse specifically did something very, very special. Spider-Punk was a character I didn't care about at all before watching that movie. He always looked kind of generic and a little boring, but then everything changed when this version of Hobie burst onto the scene. Beyond the Spider-Verse is finally real, and we know Hobie Spider-Punk is coming back. Miles and Gwen are most definitely chilling in his universe here. I mean, just look at how cool this place looks. But Hobie Brown is truly the most special part about this movie. And also, he is the epitome of sauce and swag. Hobie Brown is Spidey's greatest variant. Walk with me. June 4th, 2027 is the day of reckoning. The day we finally see Beyond the Spider-Verse. The greatest trilogy of movies to ever grace our world is loading right now as we speak. There is a select few number of people that have actually seen footage of this movie now, and I just know for a fact their lives are changed now. Unless they release some type of teaser between now and when I hit upload. Probably not though, but we gonna see. Also, what are the odds this movie gets delayed again? Look, I don't mind. Hey, these animators need time to cook. Let it cook, please. But look at the setting of this image. First of all, I thought this was just really, really detailed, beautifully crafted concept art, but it turns out these are actual stills from the actual movie. It's absolutely sensational. But this still of Miles and Gwen, it literally looked like Hobie's world, bruh. Tell me this ain't his universe. This is literally the land of mixed media, bruh. It looked just like him. In the same way that we vaguely saw Gwen's universe in the background of her little intro demo in the first movie, we also get a little glimpse of what Hobie's universe looks like in Across 2. Gwen's world ended up looking way more visually fleshed out when we got a better look at it in Across versus how it was in Into the Spider-Verse, so it only makes sense that New London would look a little different in Beyond. His entire mini origin explainer in Across was literally the greatest intro for any fictional character I've ever bore witness to. Every single thing he says here is just perfect. I was immediately sold on him frame one. His super anti-establishment nature is used for comedy and for actual plot relevance too, which is even better. Everything about this movie, and especially about this character, feels so intentional. The concept of punk as a movement and as a genre, or really just a culture in general, is so cool and extremely important to our history and our future. Afro-punk especially is so legendary. To be punk is to fight the power. No Grand Lager, if you know. You know. And peep how they heavily imply that he Swiss cheesed his police captain in Across the Spider-Verse too. At the very least, you don't feel too bothered that it happened. It's super interesting that Spider-Punk's character doesn't get rid of President Osborn in a super Avatar Aang type peaceful way. In a painfully dire struggle against the physical embodiment of greed, somebody might have to get turned into mulch. It seemed like he's okay with crossing that line that many superheroes, and many Spideys especially, aren't cool with crossing. I mean, look, he did say it himself. He not a role model, but he was briefly a runway model. It just makes sense. It's kind of funny he says this though, because out of everyone in this entire movie, he is easily the greatest role model here. Shout out Peter B, but that nigga was moving iffy too, bruh. I'm sorry, the humbling reality Spider-Man was moving iffy too. It is what it is. We still love this nigga though. And also look, Hobie Brown as a character, and really Across the Spider-Verse as a movie by extension, got me super into the genre of Afro-punk as a whole. Like after the movie came out, I kind of got in a little rabbit hole of like Afro-punk as a genre. I found this huge playlist on Spotify with a whole bunch of, like, it was literally titled Afro-punk, and it was a whole bunch of different Afro-punk bands, Afro-punk artists and all that. I dove deep into the rabbit hole, and I ended up finding one of my favorite albums of all time through this movie, Ain't Gentrified Chicken. Also, the way he packed up his President Osborn was insane, bruh. This nigga smashed his guitar through his head. Golly. The desire for freedom manifests in characters in very, very different ways, and I think it's really cool how that works. Luffy and Hobie ultimately do the same thing in liberating oppressed people from Fire Nation ass greedy people in power, but they both go about it in extremely different ways, and I think that's neat. Somebody like Luffy is like a caricature of the entire concept of freedom, in the sense that it's not really about justice for him at all, whereas with Hobie, it feels like every move he makes is done with so much intention, and everything's just thought out, at least a little bit. Hey, this ain't a Luffy video though, so let me chill. I like to do little fit highlights for characters on this channel, but Spider-Punk especially needs one, bruh. This may genuinely be the greatest character design in all of fiction. Peep. game. First of all, I really like how lanky this motherfucker is, and really in general, it feel like the proportions of characters in these movies feel so subtly exaggerated, and then also not so subtly exaggerated. And that's really the beauty of having an art style for like a piece of media versus just having people on a set. And look, shout out live action. There's a lot of great buyer directors who can really freak live action stuff, but animation just got it, bruh. Animation just got it. You can do anything with animation, bruh. But let me chill. I already made a video about it. Let me chill. Also, side note of Doom, it really was refreshing watching Spidey fight the Kingpin again, because I feel like it's been ages since we seen that prior to Into the Spider-Verse. Now, granted, as I say it out loud, I realized that he definitely fought that nigga at the beginning of Insomniac Spider-Man 1. But look, bro, that was the intro to the game. That don't count, bro. That don't count. Before that little intro part, the last time Spidey fought Kingpin, to my memory, was the animated series. It's been a while. Who knows though? Maybe we'll see him box in Brand New Day with Daredevil. Probably not though, right? Because apparently, bro, streets are saying Mr. Negative might be the, you feel me? Who knows? Who knows? Shang-Chi is one of the greatest movies of Phase 4. Destin Daniel Cretton will cook. But literally everything about Hobie's design feels so intentional too. Peep the super spiky spikes on his mask and how the whites in his eyes are kind of rubbed off a little bit. The running eyeliner going down his eyes is so peak too. Oh my goodness. This motherfucker is a true punk star. He got a whole bunch of pins all over him too, and I'm sure every single one means something. I'm not usually a huge fan of Spidey designs having white or silver webs. Tobey Maguire suit, don't kill me. But I think it works really well on Spider-Punk's suit because of how much chaos is going on already. Like if the webbing was black on his suit, it just wouldn't stand out at all compared to like everything else that's going on here, you feel me? Whenever he's not constantly changing colors, it's really cool that his base palette is in fact still red and blue. The fishnet type webbing going from his hands to his forearms is such a fun way to add more blue accents to this too. The plaid pants without the ass patches are great too, bruh. Look at the little spider on his thigh. Something is going on everywhere and I'm loving it. And like the places in his design where there's like white space is like oddly enough, if I'm not mistaken, his chest type area, there's white space, and I think that's such a cool subversion because it's like that's where you would expect the spider symbol to be, but it's on the back. That's so cool. His spider being on the back exclusively instead of the front is some heat. He really not a fan of labeling himself as a hero, and it feels like this is related to that. Like, I'm not a hero, therefore there's no need to like display what I represent so boldly on my chest, but on the back though, on the back is clean. But like, damn, even Hobie's Spider-Punk symbol in this movie looks so fire too, especially compared to what it was originally. Look, bruh, I dead might have to get this tatted on me. It's too beautiful. Everything about his design is inconsistent and chaotic, especially when he's in motion. He said it himself though, he don't believe in consistency. And peep the laces too. This tweet explains a lot about what lace code is in punk culture and what the colors of Hobie's laces mean, and it's so fire. But then he takes off his mask and then it look 3 times cooler. How is that even possible? Piercings galore, real life facial features, and I know you see them wigs. Giving Hobie Brown's Spider-Punk these fire-ass freeform wigs was the single greatest design choice on this entire character. Of course, Spider-Punk would have freeforms. It just makes sense. Hey, this really do look like Lon Sifu in the face though. That's crazy. I feel like that had to be on purpose, at least a little bit, right? From the kind of sort of limited-ish knowledge I know about him, it seemed like he aligns with Hobie a lot in terms of ideals and even musically when it comes to freedom of expression. This whole design is like his classic but cranked up to a milli. It's perfect. The homie not a demigod also does all the art for this channel, has the artwork for this movie, and I genuinely wish I could just take it and then rip out every page with Hobie on it and just hang it on my wall, bruh, because it's so this art book, this shit. But really the whole art book is a legendary item, so like I might as well just rip out every single page and put them all on my wall, right? You feel me? That just makes sense, right? Also, even the excess string hanging off the tuners of his guitar just adds to the non-conformity of it all. I think it's really cool that his design in the comics got a sauce upgraded Doom after the release of Across the Spider-Verse. They finally locked in and boom, the generic look he had before. I'm not really a fan of his hair though. Like the blonde and pink is cool, but Draves is kind of crazy. But also, I don't know, it makes sense for the whole not conforming to the standards of society thing. But I think Freeforms is a better way of conveying that while still making a cool ass design. At least the suit clean though. Also, look, bro, I'm a huge fan of the way he talks in this movie. Maybe I'm crazy, but like, look, the British hate feels so forced sometimes, bro. Look, I'm sorry, the British accent sound cool to me. I think it's fire how he switches between different English dialects too. Like, there's a little Cockney in there and some road in there too. Daniel Kaluuya was the perfect actor to cast as this character, dude. That man snapped in a booth. Hobie's really up there with Kamina in my fictional Hall of Fame now, which is really crazy because he was probably in that movie for like 20 to 30 minutes max. That right there is impact, bro. Look, I've seen a lot of media in my life. You've probably seen a lot of media in your life too, but Hobie Brown, that nigga done transcended all of these other fire, monumental, inspirational characters to become his GOATs. That's impact. No dial. They added this man to Fortnite and I re-downloaded just to buy the skin and never play the game again, bruh. What is wrong with me? Hey, the skin clean though, ain't it? His powers are really interesting to me too, because just like Miles, he also has the Venom Blast or something similar to it that he channels through his guitar. But Miles still got the edge on him with the whole cloaking abilities, which I think is pretty cool. I made a video a very long time ago on my old channel about Spider-Sona's coming back, and I went through a bunch, and one of my favorites was this spider jury from Alex Ahad. This concept was just so fire to me because she already really has the arachnid motif going on, and her crouch is literally her hitting the most Spidey-eye pose ever. Hey, look, I'm sorry, there's always a way to make this about fighting games, my bad, but look, bro, Spider Judy Han is goated. I can just feel the collective Spider-Verse hyperfixation is resurrecting in everybody, and look, bro, I'm seeing Spider-Sonas back on the timeline again. That's a beautiful thing, bruh. That's a beautiful thing. And look, it low-key make me want to remake the video that I did on my old channel about Spider-Sonas. But look, I don't know. We gonna see, because look, this Hobie video is already technically a remake of a video on my old channel. Not really though, but like, I talked about Hobie on the old channel, so it's like, you feel me? It's really crazy, dude. Across the Spider-Verse is probably the single movie I've seen more than any other, bruh. I was spamming this movie over and over when it came out, and it still hits so much now. This is truly going to be a timeless trilogy, dog. The IAB trilogy will be regarded as the greatest of all time for the rest of history, baby. Look, the future is always brighter than the present, which is why this movie's not out yet. But the future is always brighter than the present, so like, look, who knows? Maybe one day in like 2046, we'll get like the real greatest trilogy of all time, but until then, it's Into, Across, and Beyond. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, shout out Hobie and shout out you.
I can't feel my face right now, I'm burning up. I got this feeling that I won't come down, like, got this feeling that I won't come down, like, got this feeling that I won't come